Homage to my Guru, protector Manjushri, who holds to his heart a scriptural text symbolic of his seeing all things as they are. Wisdom shines forth like the sun, unclouded by the two obscurations, who teaches in 60 ways with the loving compassion of a parent for their only child. Wanderers caught in the prison of samsara, confused in the darkness of their ignorance, overwhelmed by suffering. You whose dragon thunder like proclamation of Dharma rouses us from the stupor of our afflictions and frees us from the iron chains of our karma, who wields the sword of wisdom, hewing down suffering where its sprouts appear, clearing the darkness of ignorance. You whose princely body is adorned with 112 marks of a Buddha, you've completed the stages achieving the highest perfection of a bodhisattva who has been pure from the beginning. I bow down to you, O Manjushri. Oh, Marapatsana. With the brilliance of your wisdom, O compassionate one, illuminate the darkness enclosing my mind, awaken my intelligence and wisdom, so that I may gain insight into Buddha's words and the texts that explain them. This ground anointed with perfume, flowers strewn Mount Meru, four lands, sun and moon, imagine suitable for subduing sentient beings. Idam Gurana Mandala Kandriyatayami. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by listening to the Dharma, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings.
Chanju Bando Dani Gyabso Chen, Daye Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge, Dola Benje Sanje Dobara Sho. Doni Nijusun Jubana Manje, Sense Kajet and Rogan, Jana Bemo de Jazon, Swan de Zoshen Don Hondo Show. Ramjamon Sora Wana, Dave Meg as on Darwan Division, Deve Tabian Zavai, Sense Shini Jela Chat. Pandan Zavel Lama Rinpoche and Dagi Ningara Beme Denju and Karin Chimpukon and Jizon de Goson Tuji Woro Zedon. Oh, las. 다 계산게 참대. 십시 들어와.
십시 나인지래.
그래.
그래.
되는 춘 선반 선배버요. 십시 들어셔는데도.
그래요.
44. 네. 야. 데라 큐슨 선반은 선배베제라도 뭐. 왜je 차베 용거베 덤바디 찬양기스. 데는데도 소년도 예로트베 소년이 샤르와자면 차와이 농란다 쓰신도 맨시다.
So then we read verses 44 and 45. 44 and 45, yeah. So here too, as I reflect on your words, I think, blazing with the glory of noble marks and hallowed in a net of light's rays, this teacher in a voice of pristine melody spoke thus in such a way. The instant such a reflection of the sage's form appears in my mind, it soothes me just as the moon's rays heal fever's pains.
But this part is so beautiful because at the beginning, Lama Tsongkhapa really investigate what is nature, what's the true nature of the self and a phenomena, because Buddha is always reminding us, unless we don't shake this grasping of this, we think this is a true nature, but we always kind of mistakenly see this is a true nature. The true existence from its own. This is what we find. This is the nature. With this big confusion, then all this chain of suffering, it continuously comes. So Lama Tsongkhapa thoroughly kind of investigated, and then he come to the point where he found through all from the Sajja, Gerju, Nyingma, and through that he found, okay, I will not jump so quickly to the where there are some kind of masters who teach teachings on emptiness quite directly, which is beginner like me is not there yet. So I really know when to back off and then start up Sirve.
Yeah.
So many of us, somehow we find this teaching very important, and then we jump towards it, and then we got a Lama, and we received so much teaching, so many commitments. At the night, going to the work, you had a difficult life, time in the office with the family, and then at the night you are with your left off with so many commitments. And it would be super good if this commitments gives you a energy boosting up, like when you feel like, oh, okay, now I am going to practice, super enthusiastic. No, it's more like I have to do it. Yeah. So like this, Lama Tsongkhapa came to realize, okay, this is too early for me to practice this. There are so many missing parts, not the teaching that Lama gave. I need to figure out. This is the kind of the jigsaw puzzle that you need to search for the missing pieces. So Lama Tsongkhapa did it. Even my master, one of my master, who are strong, has a strong devotion to Guru Rinpoche, highly kind of a practitioner from my point of view. And then one day he told me, because he was studying at the time, he was studying in the same the school I was studying in Dharamsala, and he's my next door neighbor, and we kind of talk each other, and then many people have a huge respect to him because very sharp-minded, very learned, and then he does not have this pride. Each and every time even though he's like fully qualified to become a teacher, to give teachings, but every time if somebody is telling the quality of not only Buddha, Bodhisattvas, holy beings, even among the ordinary people, we say like this person has this quality, he will just listen like, this is what I'm looking for. So this is how called down to earth. Normally down to earth means like maybe sometimes not necessary things to do, and then people think like, oh, so humble, and just staying far away from all this, and just doing lots of this respect, and deep inside you are not learning anything. My teacher, whenever he needs to teach, he will teach like he is the best. When he will learn like I am nothing. So one day my teacher and we were talking, and then that time I haven't taken him as my teacher. He's just my next door neighbor. So one time he said, he was explaining so many the unique qualities of Lama Tsongkhapa. And then he told me, without Lama Tsongkhapa's help, guidance, maybe I will be the same practitioner who used to have a huge faith to Guru Rinpoche and not knowing the basis of the true truth were quite well. So now I grow more faith to Guru Rinpoche through the kindness of Lama Tsongkhapa. That time, what I connected to my mind, normally in the Tibet we have saying there are three emanations, emanations of
Oh yeah, true, yeah, three emanations.
Emanations of Manjushri. One is Tichikarua. So one is the Guru Rinpoche, one is Lama Tsongkhapa. Oh, I think I could be mistaken, but I think Adisha, those three. But you guys need to recheck, huh? So.
It's not Sakya.
Oh, Sajya, in Sajya there it is. Who's that? Sajya Pintida.
Sakya Pandita.
Sajya Pintida.
Sakya Pandita.
Oh, okay, yeah, those are the three. Sajya Pintida Kunga Jense. So those are the three, normally we say there are the emanations of the Manjushri. But now, through my teacher's kindness, how he put it together, then Manjushri has to make us easier to understand his wisdom. So I can connect Lama Tsongkhapa to Guru Rinpoche now to help. So now it's easier to say, oh, now I understand. Otherwise, you say this emanation. Sometimes in a Tibet, we have so many emanations. This emanation, and sometimes you get confused, lost. And there's the purpose and something that you don't explain that well, but then you say emanation, then many people get satisfied, but many people are confused at the same time. So similarly, this one, why I'm saying this? I got carried out.
Got carried away.
Yeah, what I'm talking about.
Humility of your teacher, and that
yeah.
Tsongkhapa, he understood Guru
Yes.
Rinpoche much
Yes.
better
Gurumchi.
from the
I was talking about that. How did that start actually? Yeah, I lost track. Yeah, it is connected to the, I think...
not being satisfied with the teachings and wanting to go deeper and digest them.
Digest them, okay. I'm trying to connect here.
Sure,
Oh, yes. So now, through this Lama Tsongkhapa's work, we can understand. Now he will say, all this, after all this effort, now I have put all the effort, so now this is the time now where I can see the qualities of the great being, Buddha Shakyamuni. So normally most of us, if we go to Bodh Gaya, in the Mahabodhi temple, we could say, Chanchu Simcho Rinpoche, Madhya Panam Rinpoche. And you cannot connect to Buddha, to be honest, okay? You cannot connect anything. You're like, 3,000 years ago, you are a great guy, and you are still remembered, but you cannot connect strongly. And you make a prayer that all the other samsaric people pray, like, please take away this suffering of mine. So which is, Buddha will be very upset when he hears that. So here Lama Tsongkhapa's, he kind of explored and understood what are the main teachings of the Buddha, why Buddha is so important. So now at this level, then he says, through my understanding, to knowing your qualities of especially teaching of the dependent origination, which really helped me. So now at that time, So now through susu lug langti lug semne ma ani tsembe peji rado ba veji tabe yongobe an temba di chanyan dinne to ta dinde gi jomden de du si samla tang de sembe en semna lo be kora jige semna lo ya dungen gi chodung de la ya ani ma jigi karso dawasibu tu dawashabe gal sibi rang shinji du small level de be dewa jebe da shinji de lechli du tongwa.
So here, what he's expressing in these verses, where he says that this is how, reflecting on those words, and then how does the Buddha appearing to Lama Tsongkhapa blazing with this glory of noble marks in a net of light rays, with this pristine melody, and speaking to him, and as he feels that as the Buddha appears to him in that way, that all of the cooling. It says in the line, the moon rays, where the moon rays are considered to be have a cooling light. So the cooling light of the cooling rays of light of the moon cool down the torment of suffering of the, cool down the torment of the suffering in the mind. So this is what appears to Rinpoche. That's how the Buddha appears to him.
다테네 테더메도 중앙이 루산티안 미케비 끼음베 완자신 나바콘도 징버체 다 텐제 때바다 아니 다마 디쇼르야 아니 람렌 쳔모당 아니 디쇼르 자시 디젠로 소베다 저기 슝침부 당엘의 신이 벌어서 슝 오지 제다 참말로 가르치도 니게 정부유스 라베이나 아니 텐제기 렉시메도 좀 텐제기 땀데스 아니 Luxan ten Mikebe se do sembe Luxambudi sung yor de tande Mikebe de zogi ani karsu kiwe me wan zashin do se do sembe ta za zingman ne shisu ta dia bodo wan zo computer cha de tergu pa zingdi gu ba tergu
ya de
zingdi gu ba
cable is in
zingche tani karojin susu pe tangche de yoro che o de zenshu do naba kundu be jumden de gu sung changma lo be gonyo go shibu so she do 최대 통는 다게 네 스타트 인데지 통도 좀 가랑래 양 아니 좀 된디 그송 자친구디 아니 유도를 깨야 매번 관시지라 거에 야보지 마라 인데지 갑들 아니 얘기 깔래 잡인 송거다 디워데요.
So then verse 46 where it says this excellent system, most marvelous, some individuals who are not so learned have entangled it in utter confusion, just like the tangled bulbs of grass. So here, this excellent system and the most marvelous refers to, particularly to this the teaching on the dependent origination, and also, here in, of course, here in the praise of dependent origination, but also all the other texts that Lama Tsongkhapa has composed, the great treatise on the stages of the path, the ocean of reason, the essence of eloquence, which is the teaching on the definitive and interpretive. The whole purpose of composing these, and particularly to speak about these topics such as emptiness and dependent origination, is to clarify the confusion of those who've taken this most marvelous excellence and system, and because they're unskilled in these things and not so learned, they have tangled up this excellent system in a kind of, here in the text it says a tangle of grass, but actually we can think of the tangle of the wires, all like in a computer room or something where the wires are all tangled up, so kind of knotted up in and tangled up and taking this excellent system and explanations and making a pure confusion out of them. So therefore, seeing the marvelous qualities of the Buddha's speech, I then strive to compose works on these topics in order to clarify that confusion.
다다기 배워두면 캐바이스 아니 배워두면 세도 좀 bet니 칼레데 쉬우 잡인다 송거다 근데 배워두면 캐바 지름 붙이스 기라 좀 차야지 안주 단다 답지기 쉬버지기 칼리시다 자마자 통구요 말봐 이내 그런 소었더니 칼리시 잡인다시 아니다 제수 당내시 칼리 잡고에 가는스나 저랑그 송그들랑 문에 타는 알이야 아니 지가서 심규 뒤야라다 매는 메타매버지 지금 메타매버기 최든지 지금 예 통원도 잠배 이 르마당 제제 아니 공부 산지 좀 된데 송든지 송데데 공부 가리나신 양의 양도 제비 양의 양도 제일지도 차르직 제면서 양의 양도 제비
loy no
와
코트디 사와데기 딱두
다가란 디고데라 단다디 자와디 디리도 하지 맞아 저 공부 양도 다가라 10주시든데도
Sudi Tony. Oh, Dakini did so yeah,
oh,
there. Yeah, and so so he says here in the first lines of verse 47, where it says, "Seeing this situation, I strove with a multitude of efforts to follow after the learned ones and sought your intention again and again." So here, Rinpoche is expressing how, this sort of supreme effort, which of course it's hard for us to see directly, but he's expressing to us how he strove with tremendous effort to examine the Buddha's the speech, to listen to and examine the words of the Buddha, and also to follow after the learned ones, and therefore to again and again with supreme effort to seek out what the intention, what the real intention, the sort of meaning and intention of the Buddha's works and the great learned one was, and not just as it says in the verse, it's sorted out again and the intention again and again. So not just one time looking through and trying to understand, but again and again striving to find with great effort what is the intent of the Buddha and the learned masters.
So this is particularly for the people who really want a kind of an easy path, instant noodle. For this, we need to see like, Lama Tsongkhapa didn't give up. Why shouldn't I give up too? Because I have taken him as my teacher. So then you are following the path. Sometimes what we do, you read this, you don't understand. It's like, oh, there's too much. And then particularly here, I'm not reading the commentary because it takes too much time. Mm-hmm. So in the commentary it says, first start was he was keeping his Vinaya so strictly. From this first step, until all this now these 6 parameters, Lama Tsongkhapa day and night worked very hard. So in the commentary it says like that. So 100% true. This is something that we need to time encourage, and then not just changing all the. I find sometimes very funny. Maybe some people have their good reason, but they don't understand from this master, then they go to other master, and then they go to other master, and then they are going on a tour. And then I will be like, okay, now what? And then nothing special. So it's very sad. So we need to hold to this some kind of a position and let's say this is something where I'm going to put my effort to understand the Buddha Dharma. So this is why Lama Tsongkhapa put all the effort there. There's something to be noted. 공부 양도 제 대세랑 신대바 shuman 달라 장반은 지지를 제장가 공부 양도 젤세데 공부 양도 간데 제버세도 공부 단다 산제 좀된디 송 아니 배 지기 람상 코마토바디 개진부 임베지 초와게 비슈들이야 아니 공부루루기 들이야 간데 되베 공부루루기 송디 아니 다지 산제 좀된디 공부루루 롱된 temperes chao ma himba and gombulu du sanje ju kompa chedan de and gombulu du lama suge ne 공부비 다슈제도 아니 부다발리다 아니 부다발리다기 아니 공부야슈도 수제샤 아니 다와차와 아니 다와차와다 르빈 부다발리다기 아니 고아데 세르다니 로봇 신년로도 저어도 된 수인저거스나 아니 레벨인데지 어디 시도 잠배 아니 신의 제롬부치기 다 중 저거디 콩져서 상만 개중돼 세상에 제롬부치기 벽이 개벽이 라마를 콩도 말에 최고할 콩도스디 최대다 상계를 콩도고 요르바 어제상 상계 콩도스디 자가 좀 되게 아니 마음발랑아 매베 슈고들이야 고물루를 콩도스디네 롱denang 살바 뭐 시제다 딘데시네 오늘 배도 왔어 저장다 아니 딘데 슝망보라 장바 제베 타마데라 당동양 가리용고도서는 치질이 태som 자화이 다기기니 군도동 시도점베 양내양도 태som 양내양도 태som 찍 슈를 찍 빼 방전이 레온도 점베 그러니까 로진이 셈 나로려야 아니 셈디 찍 다 간지를 지나 섬야게 셈 슈미야게 두즈지야 레송송래 다기 군도동
So here in then in looking in we keep this verse a minute. So then it says about following after the learned ones and seeking the intention again and again, and then moving on to verse 48. Sorry, the verse 48. And he says, at such times I studied the numerous works of the Middle Way and other schools. But actually here. What is also being, or Jeremy is also saying to us, is that he had a strong feeling, having encountered the words of the Buddha, he had a very strong feeling that they were tremendously important, but also in some sense that directly understanding the words of the Buddha directly can sometimes be quite difficult to get the deeper meaning of, and so he then. As he also studied the works of Master Nagarjuna, who of course the Buddha had expressed the coming of in a prophecy. Not only, but that was not only the only reason why Rinpoche studied him, because the Buddha had prophesied him, but for that unique quality that the Nagarjuna had of really explicating in great detail the meaning of the words, the meaning of the sutras and the words of the Buddha. And then also studying, so this is in relation to studying the numerous works of both our own way, Middle Way, and the other schools. So also, and then then not leaving it at this understanding of Nagarjuna, but those students who also came to further clarify the meaning of how Nagarjuna had understood the Buddha's words. So those are the students of Buddhapalita and then Chandrakirti, but also a sort of helpful friend of theirs, who also helped to really clarify the deeper meaning was Bhava Viveka, who also within their interaction, with these masters, was able to help clarify further also the meaning of the Buddha's words in Nagarjuna. So here we can say that. This way in which J. Rinpoche is studying he's not really he's not engaged in the sort of earlier Tibetan writings particularly. It's almost like we wouldn't even classify him at the time. He's not even really classified within you can't really classify him within the Tibetan Buddhist world at that time, because you see here what is he when he's studying the numerous works of our own way and the middle way and the other schools. He's referring back to the great Indian treatises, the words of the Buddha, and then the great Indian treatises that explain that. So. Buddha Nagarjuna, and then the later transmissions of these texts. So then he says that, but in studying those texts, as it says in lines 3 and 4, it says, "My mind became tormented ever more, constantly by a network of doubts. So having, in the process of studying those great Indian, particularly those great Indian treatises, of course there were many doubts that came up for him. And of course that the mind had a kind of torment about his mind had a torment about not being able to understand those very clearly and thinking, oh, how can that be, or how is that, thinking in this way. So then, and then the next piece will come. Yes, so that's how he, in again and again seeking out the intention of these works. And then in relation to this network of doubts and the torment of his mind of trying to understand these texts, it then reads, we'll read verses 49, 50 and 51. It says, the night lily grove of Nagarjuna's treatises, Nagarjuna whom you prophesied would unravel your unexcelled vehicle as it is, shunning extremes of existence and non-existence. And then 50, illuminated by the garland of white lights of Chandra's well-uttered insights, Chandra whose stainless wisdom orb is full, who glides freely across scripture's space. And then 51. Who dispels the darkness of extremist hearts and outshines the constellations of false speakers, when through my teacher's kindness I saw this, my mind found a rest at last.
So now, when Lama Tsongkhapa was struggling with all these doubts when he's studying, and then who really helped him the most? Not directly Manjushri, to be honest. We are thinking like that, right? Oh, Lama Tsongkhapa has Manjushri already. Oh, how wonderful. but Manjushri is the one, like, you go to the library. So you have a bunch of all the texts and we'll get confused, what to read, what not to read. And then he goes like, okay, read this book. So it makes it more accessible for Lama Tsongkhapa. And then he says, when the time when he was really struggling, who helped him the most is Chandrakirti. Through the Chandrakirti's help, he could understand what Nagarjuna really meant. Through the Nagarjuna, then he understood. This is why Buddha is telling this. So, and then on the top of that, and who will always come to help when he is so tired of that? His teacher, Rendava. So all this together, he got the answers. He became Lama Tsongkhapa. Right? So what to take away from this now? In order to know the dependent origination, the depth of the dependent origination, just receiving teaching is not enough. Just studying with you from your notes, from your scratch, not enough. AI, not enough. Okay? So, what? Don't lose the track of Nagarjuna. Don't lose the track of the Chandrakirti. And don't lose the Lama who can connect you to that. Most important. So what kind of Lama do we want? Teacher we want. Who can give us this teaching? But the Lama tells you, like, I give the initiation, I guarantee you that you will get a fully enlightenment. Just take one step back and think carefully. Okay? So this is so kind. Lama Tsongkhapa here, it tells you how to find your master. And many of in the West, in the East, they would just go like, who is my Lama? And I just go like, how can I tell this is the right Lama, this is wrong Lama? I'll look through this. What do you really need actually? So unless you don't find why you want the Lama for, and there is no way to tell you this is Lama right, Lama wrong Lama. So here Lama Tsongkhapa, why he put all emphasis, who he can say, Rendava is the perfect teacher for me. And the Nagarjuna, perfect teacher for me. This text, particular text, very accurate, relevant for me. He can hold this thesis or the position very strongly. But the more problem is now he investigates, this great master is trying to say this, what does that really mean, how to connect this? Then he need to put quite an effort there. Not to go and look for a teacher actually, not to look for a kind of a particular textbooks. So he made things quite easy for us already. So we shouldn't lose the track what he has taught here. And then what in the beginning he said, I'm giving you this teaching because I struggled, because in that time in Tibet, many lamas and teachers who give teachings, they are all caught up in the kind of mixed up, and it's like the cable that is all knotted.
Yes,
and then
knotted cables. Yeah.
It so takes your energy, like how to pull out the right one. So Lama Tsongkhapa said, I will clean this for you. So how compassionate actually. So at the end, as you can see here, it said, my mind found a rest at last. This is our milestone. This is where take a good rest. Otherwise, no resting. Dagi higi so tosarwa. Ta dine wall roche zeba kun lu songin zeba chonyen den tini yanji kewe dile sanje jenjen jus.
So then verse 52, where it reads, of all your deeds, your speech is supreme. Within that too it is this very speech. So the wise should remember the Buddha through this teaching of dependent origination.
Ta zeba sanje ge zeba mo shibo yore ta penna taran shu nga zeba jungni kyor ba. Ta zeba mo shibo ju yore de zeba chame na는 shodo jo ba de sunggi zeba dres. Sunggi zeba de nga ju sanje ngo singre ma do sunggi zeba men nga ju sanje ngo sing ko ma ba. Ta sunggi zeba ge nalo ne ani 가르 chodo jo ba re se ju zambe tenje sungbe che di ani chodo jo ba yin zeba nange zeba chodo jo ba di. 아니 디니 인지를 캐봐예 딜 산제 전전주스도 산제 제수 탱고나 아니 딜 삼로던 거레스 딜 삼로마다나 아니 산제 지기 연된다 산제 가져 삼바인선 아니 삼고 추고 말에 송거다.
And so here, what it's saying to us is that there are many deeds of the Buddha, sort of almost countless, limitless deeds of the Buddha. For instance, this morning in the ceremony we recited verses recalling the 12 deeds of the Buddha. But what is said that out of all that vast array of deeds of the Buddha, the most supreme of those is the Buddha's speech. And really, to identify who really the Buddha is without identifying his words and his speech and the words that the things that he said, then we can't really identify clearly who the Buddha is. And within that array of teachings that he gave through his speech, then the most important of those is that of this dependent origination. So then it says in the verse, so the wise should remember the Buddha through this teaching of dependent origination. So if if you need to remember who the Buddha is, then if you have to remember them through his words and his speech. If just bringing to mind those other sort of other different qualities will not really help us in order to fully be able to remember the Buddha. So we should remember his speech, but particularly the teaching of dependent origination.
Dende jesu rabdo chungje ta sanje jumne digi tembala ane rabdo chungbor gyude ane ye laga kharchen songna tani rabdo chungna ye laga yakshu nye kharchen son yewe songla jangba memen shin sanje gu songla nye chigi tabe songla ya ane kowa gyobu dindime kowa yagu raa yos ngone tani sanje gu song didandi kangyulu gu kongpa didan dis cheche nye gita kowa chazan yodini chi yins jangba memen shin Nenjur chela zunbe gyalong shiks. Ani chigi tabata samba tsam chimuni gomaya shirajaba yins. Nenjur chelas zunbe gyalong shiks. Da nenjur chela zunbe imdandi lamrin chimu jena hagu re. Lamrin chimu nanglo la ya shinegi kordan lakdong kordi tabi ching peo kawe chong nanglo la da gyagada peo niga nanglo la ya peo ching nye genyu sungure genyu sungure di chezanga 신이 거야 제름 비치기 람린 첨을 제바치 단다 요나스 거래 디테일
디테일
제상가 개회 nen저절로 좀be 견원식스 한 장선 첨부고 달라 대다르고 세도 잠배 다시네 네 상제려야 대바체바디 아니 체매 장배 대바지 송거다
제름식이 개버 somebody 신이 거
신이 거라 자가다 표니게 나로라
개버 게시
신의 유고를 숭 계셔디 제름부치 강의 유지만스 갱 숭그래.
Yeah, so then this verse 53 where it's saying when we're following such a teacher and becoming a renunciate. So here what it's describing, having followed the teachings of the Buddha and then becoming a renunciate in this Buddhist world, and then it's saying to us what would be the best thing to do with having become a renunciate, and that would be to study in detail the words of the conqueror. So in the second line it says, having studied the conqueror's words not too poorly. So he's saying here to us that examining again and again the words and speech of the Buddha, and then have got not too bad an understanding of what the meaning of that is. And then he says, so then having taken that good understanding of what the meaning of the words is, and then says this monk, Lama Tsongkhapa, who strives in the yogic practices, and this particularly is in relation to not just, so here meaning that not just hearing and thinking, hearing and contemplating the teachings, but also engaging in meditation upon the meaning of what has been heard and contemplated, and then also so we see this if we're talking about yogic practices in particular, we can also connect this with the trainings in calm abiding or shamatha, and then also in special insight and the wisdom of special insight. And in particularly we see within Lama Tsongkhapa's great treatise on the stages of the path to enlightenment that a tremendous amount of detail both on shamatha and also on special insight. And one of my teachers expressed that within all of even within all the Indian texts, but also throughout all the Tibetan literature, it's hard to find anything that has as much detail on, particularly on shamatha, the section as well, but also on the special insight section. So then, a combination of those for striving in yogic practices, and through that, Jeremy is expressing then attaining this deep reverence for the Buddha through going through this process.
Also, this people here, monks and nuns, or the abbeys, monks and nuns, has to, if you follow If you think you wanted to follow the footsteps of Lama Tsongkhapa, then this is how you need to become monks and nuns. I apologize. Even I couldn't follow as a monk's robe with the discipline, but it is quite shameful to say and to request you to say such things like this. But I can give my opinions. And then this is what Lama Tsongkhapa is doing, so I admire that. So I'm saying, like, wouldn't it be wonderful if you can do like that? So it's really funny because sometimes person like me talking that to the monks and nuns, it's very difficult. Most challenging was when, one time there's one Himalayan Buddhist nun association, something, right? In Dharamsala they have. So Tsenshap Jizuma Tsenshap, and then few nuns. Then they have a few new ordained nuns. So almost 40 of them, they request me to give a talk to the nuns, and especially how to become good nun. so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. But I felt like actually there's two ways to learn. So I just, then with this motivation, and then I went to Nobulinga, Tesamling. They organized that meeting. That was my first kind of meeting, Jizuma Tensipamo. And then she was there, and I need to give talk now. And then I said, you all invited me to give advice to how to appreciate and to guard, to hold on your Vinaya strongly. And actually you called a wrong person. And then I said, well, maybe you've been very clever, because we say you can also not learn from good things, but you can learn from also bad things, from the bad things, from the wrong-doing things. So that maybe you are being clever with me. So, and then I said, now I'm not capable to give these teachings, and then maybe because I find these teachings very strongly connected to me, then time to time, then I say, like when Lama Tsongkhapa and a great being saying, now I appreciate, because I'm being this monk and on this Vinaya, I found this teaching very strongly. So then there's a bit of an uncomfortable feeling. So I kind of shared like the how I just shared with you. So yeah, sometimes it becomes quite uncomfortable. So also today. Anyway, tempa lana mebe tempa dam jewa dinda lami tin be kewa de ro ma lo shinye tambe zimbe juro ngos
54, yeah, verse 54.
당어와 들으셔. 당어와 dinga zo nyamdo nangshuna, right? 아란조 몽부지 최제당데 라 menda ton jego 당 아란조 수수수 루유 캔사버 왔다 수수 미래를 상계 최제당데 배 다지 지내 레일 이체라 주요리야. 지금 참말로 제단 지고 말해. Jedan Dramenda, Lama Tudan Dramenda, Tembatan, Jewaden, the Lami Tin Bis, the Lamadi, Jin Jambiang, and Lavado, Tanda, Jandawa, and the Lama Zonga, the Lama Shambak, Tachi, so Samatin Jungitam, Sunging Lamatin, Tin Yimbe, Gawa, Diang Roa Maluba, Shinya Tambizi Jurongos, the Shining Pompatang, and Tabado. Jagar Kebegi, Shung, Tabado, Gomburuda, and Dawatrabe, Shung Gi, any core made in Yanki, Shinya Jijan Pesagres, Chesanga, Shinya Tamadinjigi, any Jesus Sumbi, any Jurju Show, Sinegi Tandata, Geo Karsash, those one Ranzo in this one, Yamdona.
So what we'll do is actually recite this, because this is a verse of sort of almost like dedication here, and the verse 54. And what is I'll read it first and then just say what Rinpoche said. So it says, "Since it is due to my teacher's kindness, I have met with the teaching of the unexcelled teacher. I dedicate this virtue too towards the cause for all beings to be sustained by sublime spiritual mentors." And so here, Rinpoche first of all talks about having met with the teachings, and it's amazing when we think about all of each person. All of us have had very different ways in which we've met with the Dharma, that we've come to the Dharma, we've met with the Dharma, met with the teachers, and the different kinds of teachers and teaching that we have met with. But here, what J. Rinpoche is, within that vast array of different ways in which different people have come to the teaching, J. Rinpoche says, due to the kindness of the kindness of the teacher, and because of Jampeyangi Tinda.
Lama Rendawa Sobe. Umegi Samome Tam Songni Lamatuso.
Yeah, so and it's due to when he says have met with this teaching of the unexcelled teacher. So through the kindness of my teachers, my gurus, my teacher Manjushri, I've been able to meet with this. These unexcelled teachers and teachings, particularly those who have those teachers who speak about and explain and speak about dependent origination, and that I've also had this incredible fortune to meet with the Indian texts of great masters such as Nagarjuna and Chandakirti, and of course, if you meet with a teacher who's not able to understand, who hasn't understood these things, then it's very difficult to learn from them. But he's saying here, I have had the great fortune, through the great kindness, I've had the great fortune to meet with all of these unexcelled teachers and teachings, and therefore I dedicate the merit to the cause that all beings not meet with teachers who are not able to explain clearly, but to meet with those teachers who are able to fully explain, authentic teachers fully able to explain these things, especially the teaching of dependent origination. So we recite this together.
You don't need to recite, just think.
Just think about it, so think about it in this way as a kind of dedication.
It's a dedication. So dedication and prayer, there are differences. Dedication is a prayer, but prayer doesn't need to be a dedication. Right? So dedication, you need one kind of material.
Yes. Dedication needs some substance.
Substance. So here Lama Tsongkhapa was saying, day and night I put so much effort to get this teaching. Now my mind is on rest. I'm so fortunate to find this teaching. So now all the effort he put in, all the merit he has put in, he has, because out of compassion, he's saying, may all the beings wandering in this world, may they find this teacher, whom I found in my path. It's very powerful, isn't it? So this is something that normally we pray like we say, oh, may all the sentient beings never get suffering. That's a prayer. That's just praying. No, not like this kind of merit where I'm going to use this for this purpose only. Then it is going be a dedication.
Yes, but yeah.
Oh, dici penso di tempo niente lungo tatene pense tin pense ti tembang sibe tar niente lungo number million tembang ganzushim 이제 니베 다도 칸을 쇼스 다디 몰람디 슈침부리 데 몰람 슈침부 인당 카르스나 아니 좀 된데기 다 템바 된데지던 제네 아니 땡중기 땀기 된데기 템바던 제네 아니 라량 아니 배 먼저 단답아도 다 지기 주름 미디비기 슝당 아니 배지기 다 망부지 두저직다 망부시부지 돌아 땅 차버렸어 다양종 시베기 탈을 못 봐도 탈바 탐지 챔베 고방 마토르게 봐도 아니 배 말이야다 distractions so 봐.
Yeah.
The obstacle 인제 남에마요지. 아니 마용을 두직 세지 다들이지. 야도 롱게 넘어면 템뱅강 주신의 템발 마용하다. 아니 템베기 응주신에서 템베기 아니 템베기 닝부디 땡중게 담면도 전에 딜이야 애니 니치 녀베 토네 아니 딘디지다 distraction도 좀 마용을 두지 세제네 말함도 나거든.
So this is this verse. So then we move on to verse 55, and it says, "May the teaching of this beneficent one till the world's end be unshaken by the winds of evil thought." So here, Rinpoche is making a very strong prayer that having met these incredible teachings, he encountered these amazing teachings, and also also had the great fortune to meet the incredible instructions and instructions that are contained in all the sort of Indian treatises, and so because of Rinpoche Korangi Chiropigi. Yeah, so generally people have wasted a lot of time by listening to a whole range of other systems apart from these magnificent teachings. So may they be may this teaching of the Buddhas remain not undisturbed by undistracted or disturbed by those kind of teachings, so that people are able to this path which leads us out of the ocean of samsara and eventually to the complete enlightenment, and this teaching which at its essence holds the instructions on the dependent origination. May I always be never drawn away by it says here, the winds of evil thought, to these other doctrines, and may they not cause obstacle, or may I never be distracted away to any other teaching apart from this, and may I attain a strong ascertainment of the meaning of these teachings, and may I be always filled with those. And because it did Tamadigi. Yeah. So making this strong, making this strong pair that may all find conviction in these the teacher and these incredible teachings. May everyone find a strong ascertainment in these teachings.
One of my friend, a meditator, who passed away in Dharamsala, a great meditator, one great Geshe. So he said, in Tenshetaba, in the praise to the dependent origination, the Lama Tsongkhapa gives you a tip when you are dying. One of the best poor. He teaches you one passage there. He said, you look at it, and then we discuss. So I went back and looked around. And there's no word of power, and so I got like a few days later, he came to my house and said, I looked and I couldn't find. And he said, at the last there is a prayer. So he showed to me this passage. So normally in the time of the death, we worry so much about this life's appearance, what will happen to my next life, will there be life or not, all this unnecessary kind of the fear we will bring. The best fear for the next life, even you are reborn in this time. Of course, we need to reborn if we don't get a liberation. When we come back to the world, even you come back as a human being. Even you are born in like in America, one billionaire's son or daughter. Then what? But most sad part is for Lama Tsongkhapa, if I don't get the right teaching, and even most sad thing is if I get a wrong teaching. So that's the fear of Lama Tsongkhapa. So this makes a strong kind of a prayer. When we go before the sleep, we need to recite this. And then when the time of the death, this is how we make our last prayer very strongly. That's what my friend Gishila kind of shared this with me. It's quite powerful. 이제니 다도 강 쇼스 다 다데네 디인들 데니 주메 디니 신젤 투베 루산자와 담 르장 소장 땅네 zem바르 기직자메 하와 말 주르지 다 땡중기 담디 아니 수수 르다 소다 가르땅고 중네 땅게 인스 이나양 꼭 기지 찍리야 얘기 답에 카마데버지 얘기 아니 냠네디 아니 쳇도지
And so another very strong prayer is contained in verse 56, where it says, "May I never falter for even an instant to uphold the excellent way of the sage." And so here, which illuminates this principle of dependent origination. So, in order to do this throughout all of my lives, giving away my body or even my life, in order to uphold and to explain, to uphold and in this sense to understand the instructions on dependent origination and not to be separated from them even for a moment, so not to because they falter for a moment from even upholding this excellent way which explains the dependent origination. So they're making another, J. Rinpoche is making another very strong prayer here to never, even at the cost of one's life, to never give up on these teachings which illuminate dependent origination.
Our Genja Zula, you received teaching from Genja Zula,
yes,
right?
I did, yeah.
Genja Zula, in the class, in my class, we recite all this dedication and everything. We always forget this to recite. So Genja Zula says, "Oh, please sit with one left," and then he will recite this one. And then when he recites this, his hands are like so tightly, I'm born for this, I will live for this, I will die for this. This is a sign, actually, he will just go very the style of some of the teachers can be very strong teachings. 기직자면 더바 만주지. 점바초디 까빠메지 년대 님부즈는 주바데 타관식이 배웠는데 남바 주변 연전 다वर 쇼서 다 삼주 천주 띵중기 땀디마도메 삼내니 다 닌다 쳔 다 냠내 제고래 송벌.
And then reading verse 57, where it says, "May I spend day and night carefully reflecting, by what means can I enhance this teaching achieved by the Supreme Saviour through strenuous efforts over countless eons?" So here, J. Rinpoche again making this strong sort of commitment, a prayer that to continually, day and night, to reflect on the meaning, particularly the meaning of this incredible instructions on dependent origination.
달라섬 답에 추도 좀 봐도 상당 뭐 지금 좀 랭된 나불라서 처음에 예와메바 다도 좋지 쇼스도 좀 땅을 안줘 어디에 that teaching a lot.
Yes, verse 58 then, the last verse. "As I strive in this with pure intention, may Brahma, Indra and the world's guardians and protectors such as Mahakala unswervingly always assist me."
So now remember when Lama Tsongkhapa calls for the helps of the Jigdena Devasena,
beyond worldly class and the supramundane or the non
highly realized,
non-worldly.
can say highly realized protectors. When normally we make protector pujas, we take refuge in protectors when you have a samsaric problem. But Lama Tsongkhapa here, when he calls the protectors, as he is saying, how do you translate?
Strive with pure intent.
Strive in this with a pure intention. In this,
Sincerely.
the dependent origination. And now I need your help to bring no obstacles until I get strong realization. So he's teaching how to when time to do protector puja. Thasam tabe sude zomba na tsandong bu jine jong da lengden na wo lo su sume yawa me wa da do choje shows. So we finished. So I think you had enough, I had enough. And so this is very brief, very powerful. Sometimes it's so brief so that we will left out with so many kind of dot. Like, what is that? What is that? For also English-speaking people, there are always a problem with the terminologies over there. So now this should be the real consecration. Should be whenever now you have to make a kind of a strong commitment to yourself in this Buddha house. So now Lama Tsongkhapa said very clearly, there are so many great qualities of the Buddha that I can praise because I know Buddha quite well. That's how he said. So now there is one thing, only one thing that 1,000 you say this Buddha is perfect, but you lose one small piece which will not even get close to the quality of Buddha, whatever you say. That kind of quality is his realization on dependent origination, and his teaching on that. That is our only hope to get out from the suffering once and all. So now in this beautiful Buddha house, with the Anila's effort, now conditions, look at it, so wonderful, so peaceful, no distractions, just aeroplanes. Right? So Anila is trying best to hold Buddha's teaching, not for herself, for all of you. So in order to use this precious time, shouldn't take advantage of this, because we really don't know what will happen next, what is coming up. So make a good use of this precious human life, and what you can repay the kindness to Anila, to all the people here who really helped to make this and very easy, accessible to practice Dharma, and how to repay the kindness of His Holiness Dalai Lama, And this year is his 90th birthday. And how are you going to give a present, which he asked? He said, normally birthday is not something I celebrate or interested. He gets annoyed when somebody put a candle on that and blew that. So His Holiness says, what I really need for the birthday present from you all is, please practice bodhicitta and emptiness for me, please. That's what he always sends this message. So this is, you can repeat the kindness of His Holiness Dalai Lama and the Buddha. And yeah, so I think you can do it. And then as a Shantideva, when he taught bodhicitta, because we didn't speak much about bodhicitta here. So this is how maybe Shantideva slipped from my mouth. So the great Shantideva he focused so much on how to generate bodhicitta, but he didn't put that much effort to tell us what is the emptiness. And then, before entering to the bodhicitta, on the first chapter, he talks so much of the qualities of the bodhicitta. So that's why I think one of the greatest Buddhist marketers, marketing
advertising
is the Shantideva. So he really put like, wow, this mind is so great, so great. You have a go like that. We feel like the mind is so great. Yes, you cannot say no there. So then he will direct us to the patience, and then it's this concentration, and then wisdom. He will drag us to there. So, like this, in order to appreciate the dependent origination, we need to first have to have a strong craving towards how to get rid of the suffering. So this is something that we really need to ask ourselves. And it's good. All the people always ask you, how are you? It's a great reminder, actually. And without any hesitation, you say, I'm fine, thank you. And as a Buddhist practitioner, and particularly a person who is really into now, if you are serious about the dependent origination, then you need to think. You can say, be optimistic. So you have to say, yes, I'm fine, thank you. But deep inside you feel like, how I can be fine in the samsara? And then you prepare for it. And each and every beings, sentient beings, turkey, deer, it is a reminder for you, to show you, I'm in your reincarnation. I'm your reincarnation. Because my teacher, one of my teachers, he says, do you watch television? I say, mostly I stick on the mobile. Okay, he said, the time to time it is good to watch the animal realm, the planet. And then I say, okay, why you are saying this? So this is also lamrim. If you think this is suffering, like a frog just born, and then there's a mosquito coming biting it. And you feel, oh, these poor insects, oh, the animal. But we always forget, like, if the consciousness continues, that's me. You never connect like this. So my teacher connects like that. So it's such a great reminder. And then how could you say, even you are staying in a very fancy and luxurious, you have to feel like, we normally say, time flies, once born has to die. We say that, but like we know it. But actually we are not connecting anything there. We just like, I don't want to see anything. So as a practitioner who is asking for the teaching of dependent origination, we need to connect for sure. That's why the first scope is necessarily for the people who admire bodhicitta. The Lama Tsongkhapa said very clearly in Lamrim Chemo, these days in the Tibet, who say I am the on the highest scope, and then they start looking down on the first scope, and then he says, I wonder he knows what is the first scope about. So it's a great teaching. So then more you feel like confident towards yourself, and you think that I have enough something to give to others, teachings. You can this teaching helped you, and then you can, wish other people can have this too. At that time, then you were asking towards the Bodhisattva's way. Not taming your mind at all, thinking of ascended beings, you are asking for another suffering, more suffering. And then my teacher says, coming here before in Dharamsala, I met my teacher and I checked about some my thoughts about bodhicitta. My teacher just laughed and said, I normally talk lots of bodhicitta, and I've really had when the meditation I could cry or the sentient being suffering and so much connecting. And then my teacher has a very annoying nephew with him. And then right after having so much kind of a strong energy, and so he's ready to connect to the sentient beings, he goes to the kitchen, and then he finds the faults of his nephew. Automatically, the bodhicitta, compassion, everything gone. So he's saying if I cannot be for this lifetime or this for few months, I cannot stay very strongly firm with this bodhicitta, one person. And there are far much worse than that in our world and universe. So His Holiness one time said, bodhicitta, when you hear that, it is so easy. You oh, looks good, I will get it. But then emptiness, you think so hard. But actually the trick is very funny, because when His Holiness, when listen to and practice emptiness, he kind of said, to practice that, it's quite easy. It really makes sense. I can feel I cannot meditate on that strongly, but it really makes sense. But when bodhicitta, you think so beautiful, easy, important, yes, then you try to connect, it won't stay, it won't last anything. So it's more difficult. That's what His Holiness says. So my teacher is always saying same thing. So it's about, my teacher would say, we normally push so much to generate bodhicitta. But then why people are not saying, in order to achieve or to generate bodhicitta, the first main important thing is compassion. And people are not saying, these days I'm putting all my effort to generate compassion. They are focused more on bodhicitta. But these steps, and my teacher would say all this, the 1 karsao,
7-point course.
7-point karsao.
Cause and effect instruction.
7 courses and 1 point, right?
6 causes and 1
six causes and 1 result.
Yeah.
This lineage, this training. We say it is to design to get a bodhicitta. But the most of, until the compassion part, it is order to generate great compassion. So we don't say that. We normally just say that, oh, it is, yes, but if you keep quite research or investigate, then all this thinking, Marsheba, seeing all the mother,
beings as a mother,
beings as a mother, and feeling the kindness,
and recognizing their kindness,
the kindness, repaying the kindness, all this connects directly to the great compassion. And normally we don't say, in order to achieve compassion, we need all this. We don't say that. So in order to have a great compassion, we need all seeing these mother, sentient beings, kindness. So my teacher would always say, okay, now I have given you the bodhicitta vow, now go out there and then always think the kindness of mother sentient being. So that's why Lama Adisha, when he comes to Tibet, he really wanted to teach bodhicitta to others. He would go, when he was received by the monasteries to give some teaching, when he was escorted by many monks, then he would just go somewhere, there's a donkey, and then he would just go to the donkey and say, hello mother, you had a very hard life, I'm so sorry for that, I will repay your kindness. And just go there. Tibetan people think like, this is really stupid, what he is doing. They're not getting it. He's practicing this. So then, seeing the kindness, then you will come to realize, I need to repay the kindness. Which is, you feel that's there. But in order to repaying the kindness, then it's a big deal. This is taking so much energy there. That's done, there it is. So all these steps we need to keep in our mind, where to focus more. Yeah, so you all can do it. I'm doing it. So we will do it. Okay? Thank you very much.
Read the opening verses of the text again,
Go around.
so that we can put the imprint to hear the full text.
Okay, sure. Dende deba shusos namo guru manzung gokaya kanshi siji songba yi kyandan deba laname kyawa tenjin deba jun sijin tomba telade jikden kuba jinye ba teyi zawa mar kanshi tongwe tedoba tenjin deba jungosun teze lodan denba yi tenjin deba junbe nam kyoji tenbe nenjin du jidara kundo chube teda lana gonjo lo tebe gon sushige tenne juma lo soba ngosari juba jijini kankan jela ra deba tede rangshinji 송원 델레 양덴베 레돔 춘이 지시여 Okay. Okay, so now I want to say thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. I had a great time, and the schedule was not tired, very tired, and I thought like because I have came here after a long time, and many requests was made by Venerable, and I came as a very I'm not a kind of easy person to come here, so I thought like maybe as a punishment, what I would get, maybe Anila might be give a schedule for like 6 sessions. So
That's a request.
So the schedule was very good, and then all the just seeing this amazing, blessed by all the masters who have came here, taught you, and I can still feel this that how this inspiration has working in the students through Alex. When Alex said, "Oh, they ask very good questions. They really have a good background there." So this is something great to see. So it was such a I'm not at all qualified. Forget about qualified, but not even a good student. So how can I be a good teacher? So, but you know what? As born as reincarnation of Lama, there's no excuse to give a teaching. So I'm doing my part. And especially it's difficult with the people who are so learned, who already know so much already, like Anila, both Anila here, and Alex, and Simon, and some of you within you already know much better than me. And then I have to sit on this, you all people stare at me, and I have to say something, not confident. But anyway, Lama Tsongkhapa made it quite easy for me in the Lamrim prayer at the end of their saying, through the compassion, may I can bring the Buddha's teaching. So I try my best at. So I try. So the people who are senior and more learned, they are my witness, and I made maybe 90% mistake. That mistake is on me, but then there's 10% correct, and that maybe helped you a bit. That comes from my teacher, His Holiness Dalai Lama, and my all kind gurus. So I'm very happy to share this 10% with you. And 90% I'm taking back. Okay, so until we meet again, take care of your health and practice as much as you can. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
May the spiritual teachers who lead me on the sacred path, and all spiritual friends who practice it, have long life. May I pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. Grant such inspiration, I pray. May the lives of the table, and their virtuous actions spread in the 10 directions. May the light of wholesome teachings dispelling the darkness of the beings in the 3 worlds always increase. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniryatayani. Due to this merit, may we soon attain the awakened state of Guru Buddha.
Thank you.
That we may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious Bodhi mind not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. In the snowy mountain pure land, you're the source of good and happiness. Powerful Tenzing Gyatso Chenrezi, may you stay until samsara ends. Om Sravasti. May all be auspicious. O charming Lady of 7 Eyes, Supreme Mother of the Triumphant, exceptional deity skilled in bringing a great train to fall, of the actual attainments of deathless long life, positive potential and deep awareness, please grant here and now the utmost in fulfilling the aims of my prayers. By the force of your matchless dedicated heart to uphold the teachings, may you live a long life to further the essence of the deep and extensive guidelines that the Able One taught. As a Lord wielding power over the ocean of reason and speech, as a lamp for the teachings of the excellent-minded, for the sake of leading to a state of peerless, enduring bliss, all wandering beings oppressed through bondage to their compulsions and disturbing minds, may you live a long life, fulfilling all infinite hopes through the extensive deeds of your stainless 3 enigmatic gates. May your dedicated heart once more reach out to strive in serving the Triumphant One's teachings through your 3 pure rounds. I request you long to remain as a guiding light for wandering beings, in accord with your will, in the lands of disciples in every direction. By the power of the inspiration from the hosts of lamas, deities, and protectors, by the force of the truth of non-fallacious dependent arising, by the strength of regard from the exceptional resolve of myself and others, may all the aims of my prayers be exactly and fully fulfilled. Peerless Supreme Spiritual Leader, Omniscient King of the Shakyas, Motherly Tara, Supreme Bestower of longevity and wisdom, vast ocean assembly of sources of refuge, grant propitiousness here and now for a nectar of benefit and bliss to flow. With a clear mind of extensive learning gained from following the wondrous traditions of Tupten, the Able One's teachings, you bring clarity to masses of disciples with the light of children, the lamp of the Dharma. May your lotus feet remain unfaltering for a very long time. Through your dharmic deeds of hearing, thinking, meditating, and so on, place those who seek the liberated path in harmony through immaculate discipline. Please lead all beings to liberation with undeclining excellent qualities of scripture and insight, and establish them in a glory of eternal bliss. May the deeds of explaining and practicing the Dharma, done by groups supporting the teachings and their upholders, who spread the view of dependent arising and non-violent actions in the 10 directions, and especially at Sravasti Abbey in the West, flourish.
Did we recite the Venerable's line? Okay. Recite one more. I kind of skipped.
Rinpoche has requested us to write the long life prayer for Venerable Tupten children and to recite that, a prayer that he wrote. He asked if we had recited it, we did, and he asked to hear it again. Peerless Supreme Spiritual Leader, Omniscient King of the Shakyas, Motherly Tara, Supreme Bestower of longevity and wisdom, vast ocean assembly of sources of refuge, grant propitiousness here and now for a nectar of benefit and bliss to flow. With a clear mind of extensive learning gained from following the wondrous traditions of Tupten, the able one's teachings, you bring clarity to masses of disciples with the light of children, the lamp of the Dharma. May your lotus feet remain unfaltering for a very long time. Through your dharmic deeds of hearing, thinking, meditating, and so on, place those who seek the liberated path in harmony through immaculate discipline. Please lead all beings to liberation with undeclining excellent qualities of scripture and insight, and establish them in a glory of eternal bliss. If I am not mistaken, this was translated by Dr. Alex Burson. Yeah. Rinpoche's long life prayer again.
No, it's too long. Too long. It's okay. Okay. Done? Oh. Yes, I need kata.
And can our 3 basket holders please come up and hold your baskets?